If you live in Lagos long enough, you will hear his name, Daniel Adebayo. Some people call him chief. Some call him investor. Some call him proof that hustle pays. But the older generation, they don't call him anything. They just lower their voices when his convoy passes. Today, Daniel Adebayo owns 3 hotels in Lekki, 2 estates in Ajah, oil shares in Port Harcourt, and a tech company that claims to be revolutionizing African fintech. He arrived at billionaire status before he turned 35. Too fast, too clean, too perfect. People say he used to be a Yahoo boy. That part is true, but that's not the real story. The real story began in a one-room apartment in Bariga when he was 23 years old and desperate. Back then, he was just Dan. Sweaty nights, thin mattress, generator fumes choking the window, laptop overheating, empty bank account. He tried everything legal first. Forex trading, crypto pumps, affiliate links, mini importation. Nothing worked. Every time he was close to success, something collapsed. Investments vanished. Partners disappeared. Money slipped through his fingers like water. That was when he met Toby. Toby wore fake designer, but smelled like success. New iPhone, loud laugh, carefree confidence. Toby introduced him to the game. Romance formats, foreign targets, emotional manipulation. Dan hated it at first, but poverty is louder than guilt. Within months, he made more money than he had ever seen. But he wasn't satisfied. Because Yahoo money comes in waves. One month you feel like a king. The next month, nothing. Dan didn't want waves. He wanted a river that never dried. Then came that night. It was raining heavily. Thunder cracked over Bariga. Power went out. Dan's laptop battery blinked red. He had just lost a big client. He slammed his desk and shouted into the darkness, "If there is anything in this world that can make me truly rich, I'm ready." Silence followed, the kind of silence that feels thick. Then, knock. 3 slow knocks, 2:17 a.m. Dan checked his phone screen. 2:17. Nobody knocks at that hour unless something is wrong. He opened the door. An old man stood there, barefoot, no umbrella, no raindrops on his clothes. Behind him, rain was still falling, but not touching him. The old man looked directly into Dan's eyes and smiled. "May I come in?" Dan didn't know why he stepped aside, but he did. The old man walked slowly and sat on the only plastic chair in the room. He placed a small black calabash on the table, empty, yet it felt heavy just looking at it. "You want wealth," the old man said calmly. Dan swallowed. "How do you know that?" "You called." The rain outside instantly stopped. No thunder, no wind, nothing. The old man leaned forward. "I do not give rituals. I do not give blood sacrifices. I give exchange." Dan tried to laugh. "So what do you want? My soul?" The old man's smile faded slightly. "I want obedience." There were 3 rules. First, never refuse an opportunity that comes unexpectedly. Second, never tell anyone how your wealth truly began. Third, when you hear the whisper at 2:17 a.m., you must listen. Dan felt cooled. "And if I brick one?" The old man stood. "Then everything returns, and more." Before Dan could speak again, the old man was gone. Not walked out, gone. The door was still locked from inside. Dan didn't sleep that night. He convinced himself it was stress, hallucination. But at exactly 8:03 a.m., his email notification rang. An American tech developer had responded to a scam pitch Dan had sent weeks ago. Instead of falling for it, the man said, "I like your idea. Let's build something real." Attached was a proposal and a $50,000 startup transfer confirmation.
Dan thought it was fake. It wasn't. Money landed in his account. Clean. Legal. That was the beginning. Every week after that, something impossible happened. An investor he randomly met at a lounge funded his app. A property deal he almost ignored turned into triple profit. Crypto trades he never studied skyrocketed. But the most important part was 2:17 a.m. Every night, he would wake up at exactly that time. No alarm, no noise, just awareness and a whisper. Not loud, not scary, calm, precise. Invest there. Withdraw now. Trust him. Don't trust her. He obeyed, and he won. Within 18 months, Dan moved to Lekki, bought land, built fast, expanded faster. The whispers continued. His wealth multiplied at a speed that defied logic. But something else was changing. Dan stopped laughing the way he used to. He stared longer than normal. Sometimes he would freeze mid-conversation, like he was listening to something no one else could hear. His eyes became still, too still. Then he met Amara. Amara didn't care about flashy cars. She was intelligent, observant, curious. She noticed patterns. Why do you wake up at the same time every night? Why don't you ever seem surprised by business opportunities? Why do investors find you instead of the other way around? Dan smiled and avoided answers, but love weakens discipline. One night, she pretended to sleep. At 2:17 a.m., Dan sat up slowly, eyes open, listening. His lips moved slightly, but it wasn't his voice. It sounded layered, like two tones speaking at once. Amara's blood ran cold. The next morning, she confronted him. "Tell me the truth." He hesitated. Rule number 2, never tell anyone how your wealth truly began. But fear of losing her overpowered fear of the rule. He told her everything. The old man, the calabash, the whispers. Amara listened without interrupting. When he finished, she said one sentence, "You broke the rule." That night, 2:17 a.m. came, but there was no whisper, only silence. Dan sat up, waiting. Nothing. For the first time in 2 years, there was no instruction. The next day, a major deal collapsed. An investor pulled out unexpectedly. A property permit was revoked. Small cracks began forming. Dan panicked. At 2:17 the following night, he shouted into the darkness, "I'm listening." The whisper returned, but it was colder. "You disobeyed." Dan trembled. "I'm sorry." Everything returns. Within weeks, the decline accelerated. Crypto losses, legal issues, staff betrayal. Rumors spread online. Bloggers dug into his past. Amara watched him unravel. One night, she woke up and found him standing by the window at 2:17, smiling but not blinking. The next morning, she was gone. No signs of struggle, no goodbye, no trace. Dan searched everywhere. Police reports, private investigators, nothing. At 2:17 a.m., the whisper returned one final time. Exchange. Dan understood. He fell to his knees. "You can take the money. Leave her." Silence. Then, "You already chose." The calabash reappeared on his table, the same one, empty but heavy. His phone buzzed. Breaking news notification. Tech billionaire Daniel Adebayo under federal investigation. Bank accounts frozen, assets seized, everything falling apart publicly. By morning, the billionaire lifestyle was gone. But here is the part nobody knows. 3 months later, a new investor appeared, anonymous, foreign, offering double what he lost. Dan stared at the contract. Unexpected opportunity. Rule number 1, never refuse. His phone alarm glowed. 2:17 a.m. The whisper returned, stronger than ever. Begin again. And Daniel Adebayo smiled, because the wealth was never the gift, it was the leash, and he was never the owner, he was the asset. And somewhere in Lagos tonight, at exactly 2:17 a.m., someone desperate will shout into the darkness, and something will answer.